Hello everyone and welcome back to Ship Analysis Season 2. In my previous series we covered the purchasable ships that arrived in the Economy 1 update. The Economy 2 update has brought a plethora of new ships to analyse. See the description for the old playlist of Economy 1 ships. Let's begin. The HaulFrame is designed to be an adaptable large grid platform to tailor to your requirements. In-game, you can purchase 3 separate variants of the vessel, the HaulFrame-J, HaulFrame-C and the Pirate HaulFrame-J. To save confusion, I will refer to the ship as the HaulFrame in this video and point out any specific differences in the 3 as we go. In its stock form, it serves best as a freighter, either for short-range hauling missions with the C variant or long-range courier missions with the J variant. The Pirate variant is capable of some limited encounter hunting or cargo ship piracy as well, due to its limited but effective armament. Also, it comes with many blocks that are not fully complete and will need welding up, but when given statistics, I will consider them present and fully functional. The HaulFrame is capable of flight on every planet in the system and can even fly on Pertam with some limited cargo. Physically, the HaulFrame has a chunky, front-heavy appearance with some aerodynamic features like angled edges, thruster nacelles, and a rear wing. It has an almost square front section, followed by a taper to the rear, with nacelles making the rear stick out slightly further than the bow. The HaulFrame shares a similar naming scheme to the narrow frame covered previously. This time the name refers more to the ship's purpose than its visual appearance. The letter following HaulFrame, being C and J, I'm assuming stand for cargo and jump drive respectively, referring to whether a large cargo container or a jump drive is carried in the rear. The HaulFrame has 2 batteries, 1 oxygen tank, a beacon, 1 hydrogen engine, 1 O2 generator, 4 small hydrogen tanks. The HaulFrame-J and Pirate variant both have 3 small cargo containers, and the HaulFrame-C has a single large cargo container. A single gyroscope, all 3 have a single survival kit. The Pirate and J variants have a jump drive in the rear between the 2 nacelles, 13 small hydrogen thrusters, a connector on the starboard side under the airlock and on the ventral side in the centre, a landing gear just behind the ventral connector. The HaulFrame-J and C have no weapons. The Pirate version comes with a single dorsal mounted assault cannon turret, a Type 2 Gatling turret on the port side, and a fixed forward rocket pod mounted on the starboard side. No external cameras are present and there are no dedicated production blocks. A really cool feature on the HaulFrame is its broadcast block and event controller setup. The ship comes with several automations that run to warn you about critical events when flying, such as a low fuel warning when you reach 25% fuel and a critical fuel warning at 10% fuel. It will also alert you when the jump drive is fully charged. The exterior door is located on the starboard side near the bow of the HaulFrame. Immediately on the left is an armoury. Heading further in takes you to the central corridor of the HaulFrame. There is no dedicated airlock, instead the interior can be pressurised and depressurised with a button in the centre to control the atmosphere. There is a flashing red light to indicate a loss in pressure. At the bow we have a suspended control station with a great view out of the front of the vessel, left, right and below the ship too. Coming back and heading into the port side opposite the airlock, we have a small living area with a bed, shower and a small external window. Above the main corridor we have a skylight, and then heading aft you will find a button panel to control the interior pressure in front of a survival kit to recharge and access the ship's cargo system. On either side of this you'll find corridor blocks obstructed by scaffolding, which we will discuss later. Heading further aft down either corridor will take you into the engine room, giving you access to the broadcast controller on the starboard side and an event controller on the port side. The interior of the J and C variant is the same, however in the Pirate version those 2 corridors previously obstructed by scaffolding are now accessible. These allow you to refill the starboard rocket pod and port Gatling turret, which must be hand loaded as there are no conveyor connections. The hull frame is 40 metres long, 27.5 metres wide and 12.5 metres tall. She weighs 234 tonnes and uses 1957 PCU. The hull frame is capable of flight on every planet and moon in the system. It can even fly with a limited payload on PERTAM. All this thanks to its hydrogen-based thrusters, of which it has 4 to push the ship upward when horizontal. Forward thrust is excellent and reversing thrust is acceptable. Lateral and down thrust relies on a single thruster and quickly becomes sluggish whilst laden. The single gyroscope actually handles the ship pretty well. Even under load, it's still acceptable for a hauler. The hull frame is clearly meant to be a cargo ship that can be modified easily and adapted to suit different players' requirements and provide a solid platform for modifications. The HaulFrame-J makes a great courier, capable of ferrying light cargo loads between systems, stations and planetary bases. The HaulFrame-C is a great short-range heavy hauler, using its solid speed to haul ores and components between space stations and moons as well. The Pirate HaulFrame-J can actually be an effective little encounter hunting vessel, or unsurprisingly, effective at piracy and raiding cargo ships thanks to its small but versatile armament. On that note, the non-pirate hull frame variants have no weaponry, so avoid all combat. The HaulFrame-J can escape with its jump drive, but the HaulFrame-C you'll have to be really careful with, or ideally add some guns. Which brings us nicely onto modifications. Here's an upgraded HaulFrame-J with the basic recommended upgrades. First, I used interior corridors for their intended purpose and put a cargo access port at the end of either side, followed by a Gatling turret. Then, I replaced the dorsal conveyor port with an assault cannon. On the underside, I added a secondary gyroscope for redundancy. This can be switched off when unladen. I added 2 cameras on either side of the bow for forward visibility, and inside I replaced the starboard passage frame with the door to complete the airlock. Let me just talk you through the idea behind these upgrades. The Gatling turrets are an obvious choice in my opinion. The ship was clearly designed to support them, and they provide protection against enemy engineers, fighters and meteors. The dorsal assault cannon may seem a bit much for a hauler, but assault cannon rounds are dirt cheap, whilst providing the ship with the ability to damage large grid vessels. The mere presence of this turret on the ship may deter some attackers. The gyroscope, cameras and door are a nice to have, all making the ship just a bit more easy to use and live with. The hull frame is a good looking and fairly complete vessel. It can be an effective cargo ship for long or short range missions depending on the variant, or even a basic encounter and cargo ship raider with the pirate variant. If you're just looking for a decent cargo ship that looks great and won't be frequenting atmospheric planets, it's actually a pretty good choice even in its stock form. Though I would recommend going with the HaulFrame-J variant, as it has decent cargo capacity that can still be increased, and the jump drive is going to get you much further and much more flexibility. The pirate variant is also pretty good, but it does need quite a lot of work. If you can find a regular HaulFrame-J, I'd recommend just making the turret upgrades yourself, as the rocket pod ammo is expensive, so a waste of money unless you're swimming in uranium. My positive summary is that these vessels can be used out of the box and come with everything they need to perform their intended functions. They are effective couriers and even have intentionally placed upgrade locations. The body and shape also look great and will allow you to get around in style. The automations via the broadcast and event controller blocks are also really neat, just a nice quality of life feature that's great to see on a stock ship. My negative summary would be the sluggish lateral and downwards thrust and lack of any armaments on the non-pirate versions. To be honest, other than that, it does pretty much what it says on the tin. If you need a quick courier or hauler to assist you on your survival run, then it's worth picking up at a trading station near you.